Once again, Netflix is out here pushing horrible movies. That's it. That's my intro. Hi, I'm Amanda. You're watching Swell Entertainment, and today we are talking about things heard and seen. Or is it things seen and heard? I don't know. It really doesn't matter. All you need to know is that you hear and see things, and it's trying to tell like 7 different points, and I don't think it really gets there on any of them. There's a lot of stuff happening. The trailer itself is far too long. That was the first thing I thought of when I was about to watch this movie, but I was like, you know what? I like Amanda Seyfried. Okay, we have the same name. That's half the battle. And then I like the guy. I liked him well enough in Little Women. So I was like, okay, movie could not suck. I'm intrigued. Let's check it out. And then I was taken on a journey that was both boring and confusing because it seems like the message was bad people always get their comeuppance, even if it takes multiple people dying for them to get it. Is that it? Before I start ripping into things heard and seen, let me first thank the sponsors for today's video, Delta Trainer. Like most people during quarantine, I started trying to work out more, but I was having difficulties getting motivated, and a lot of workout videos on YouTube just kind of don't really give me the one-on-one interaction that I really need to make sure I'm actually doing the exercises. The great thing about Delta Trainer is that they pair you with a personal trainer through an assessment, and then from there you can FaceTime with your personal trainer. You and your personal trainer will be able to work together to figure out when the best time for you to work out is, what your personal goals are, how long you want to work out for, and what overall you want to achieve. Personally, I wasn't trying to get to a goal weight or anything like that. I was really just trying to work out more and get to a more consistent exercise schedule. And Santana, my trainer, helped me get there. Delta Trainer pairs your Apple Watch to the Delta Trainer app and gives accurate feedback for all of your exercises and what you are achieving. And at the end of every workout, it gives you a full breakdown of how you did. For the 2 weeks after this video is posted, Delta Trainer is giving my audience $59 a rate for a month instead of the usual $100 and a 14-day free trial. And again, that is only for the 2 weeks after this video goes live. Be sure to click the link in my description box to sign up for Delta Trainer today and get paired with your personal trainer. Thank you again to Delta Trainer for sponsoring this video. I don't know what the overall goal of this movie was meant to be. I'm assuming that what they wanted was a triumph, like good triumphs evil, even if good in the moment can't like stop evil. Eventually someone will get their comeuppance. Maybe. I personally think that this movie tried to be too many things at once. I think what they needed to do was pick one or the other. Specifically, they're trying to tell like 2 different stories mainly. They're telling the story of like a narcissistic, egomaniac husband, abusive, shitty, and then also like a ghost story at the same time that's like kind of intertwining with it, but I don't think that was necessary. Something that I always find interesting when I review movies, specifically Netflix movies, over the last couple of months, this happened when I reviewed What Lies Below and Deadly Illusions. I always get comments that are like, well, the director said in this interview that, listen, no, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If I need to do supplemental research to understand your movie, I don't think you made a good movie. I think you made homework. That's like no, if I write a manuscript, okay, and I give it to an editor, they're not just gonna be like, hey, there's a plot hole here. If I come back and I'm like, no, the audience has to figure it out. No, they'd make me fix it. Like there was this whole thing with What Lies Below where people like, actually that had to do with the Atlanteans. I don't give a shit. They didn't mention that in the fucking movie, okay? I don't care. Anyway, things heard and seen starts with Amanda Seyfried. I remember none of the characters' names, so don't expect me to be accurate. So we have the wife, we have the husband, we have their daughter. Okay, husband finally gets a teaching position as a professor in a college upstate out of the city. The wife, Amanda Seyfried, who is also struggling with anorexia and I believe bulimia. She is going to leave her job to keep him happy and to stay together. So they go upstate, they move into this house, beautiful old house, but she kind of gets like a sense right off the bat that things are weird. essentially, but also we're told that she is the true believer of the family. So it's already established that she like believes in ghosts or believes in the afterlife or whatever. Like she believes in something. They move into the house. Early on, we're shown kind of like creepy imagery of these two boys watching the house from afar. The boys show up. One of them is going to babysit the daughter. The other one and the other one as well are landscapers and are going to be like the handyman of the house. Okay, they're gonna be groundskeepers for this family. Considering what ends up happening, I don't know why we're given this creepy imagery with the kids, because it's just so unnecessary. And I'm saying the term kids loosely. One of them is like maybe 14. The other one's 18, 19, I would say. His friend's in college. He talked about going to college, so I'm assuming he's over 18, okay, especially if that happens later. But the husband starts going to college, teaching his classes. He brings his daughter to the library at one point where he meets another student who doesn't go to that school, but like works at the tennis club riding horses or whatever for rich people, whatever. Anyway, he starts like hitting on her right away. She catches on. She's basically just onto him right away, like, you're married, leave me alone. No. The wife starts catching wind of weird stuff going on in the house. She finds a ring, she finds a Bible, and inside there's like a list of the deaths and births of the family members of the original owners. And on one, it's crossed out and it says damned instead. And then she finds the ring, and it's just, oh God, too much happening. This movie did not need to be 2 hours. They could have cut out so much, but he's an art professor. All this arts imagery involved and everything. He has a coworker who becomes friends with his wife, Justine is the friend. Justine is the friend, right? I don't know, but the friend comes close with the wife, and this is set in like the 80s, so I don't know what's going on. I think this was set in the 80s so no one could Google anything. Truly, I think that was the point, because if the wife had been able to Google, she would have never stayed in the house. The wife, early on, when they're going to bed, starts smelling like car exhaust in their bedroom when they're going to sleep, and it's like, it's getting stronger, and he's like, you are just looking for a reason to hate this house. I don't know why he's talking like that, because there doesn't seem to be any indication that she has done that previously or whatever. Like, he's like, you're just trying to find any reason to hate this house. It's like, dude, she uprooted her whole life and quit her job for you. Like, I think she's allowed to bitch about the house at least a little bit. It's like, oh, I'll figure it out later. And then he later finds out, it's like, oh yeah, it's because we're above the garage, and so I'll just air it out tomorrow. But she starts seeing stuff in the house. She starts sensing a presence. Her daughter senses a presence. Her daughter sees someone, because what they originally think it is that it's the original owners of the house wife. That's who this wife thinks that it is. That's who Amanda Seyfried thinks it is. She thinks that it's the original owners and that she was damned. And then it later is found out that she was an early adopter of like the spiritualist movement in the area. And they believe that life runs parallel to death, and that death is just a passage for life or whatever. I don't know. I paid attention to that part. I watched this movie twice and I still don't fully understand what the goal of that was. What ends up happening is that she finds out that the boys who have been coming to like watch their daughter and work on the house and stuff that she's been like kind of growing close to, because she doesn't work, she's just spending time with them basically, that the reason that they are familiar with the house is because they used to live there. Their father killed all of the cows after he sedated the whole family, and then he went into the house, went into the garage, turned on 2 of the trucks and let the exhaust like fill the house and killed the mother. But then the boys survived, but then they changed the last name so they don't have the same last name. But it's not the original owner's wife that's haunting the house, it's the boy's mother that's haunting the house. And the boys are like, oh yeah, no, I noticed the ring, because the ring that she is wearing, that she found on the windowsill, belonged to their mother, but then the ring also belonged to the original owner. So again, is it like a mark of death when you start wearing the ring? Like, I'm sorry, maybe this is just me. If I moved into a house and a bunch of creepy shit is happening, I wouldn't just start wearing the jewelry that I found around the house. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just built different. I don't know. Also, it looks like a religious ring of some sort. It looks like it has some type of significance. Like, there's a carving of the 2 women holding each other, which is some symbolism later on, but like, it looks suspicious. Like, I wouldn't wear the ring for funsies. But for some reason, though the husband, the professor, is like a non-believer in the spirit world or whatever, he wrote his dissertation on the artwork that was inspired by it and things like that. So the college and a lot of professors are totally believing in the afterlife and have seances and stuff. And so one of the professors, who's like head of the department, comes over over to the house one time and is talking with the wife. He senses the wife too, or the dead woman senses her too. So they're like, oh my God, yeah, let's have a seance here. Okay, cool. Gonna have a seance. They have a family party. They invite a bunch of people over to meet everyone. The husband is still being creepy as hell. Oh, he started sleeping with that young girl again. She's like a college student, but still, he's cheating on his wife. Things are clearly strained in the household, okay? But she doesn't know that she's being cheated on just yet. But they have the family party. The wife's friend is like talking with him. He's like kind of being vaguely threatening because she's spending time with his wife and he's an abusive fuck, and so he wants to alienate her. So her having a friend that he has no control over, he's not a fan of. That's what that is. He also does this thing where he's like really creepy and holding her arms, like try and break free. And he's like hurting her, but he's giggling because he's high as shit. So again, too much happening. I'm telling you, pick one. Show the messed up nature of the husband or do the ghost stuff, because I think that would be more twisted. Or all the twisted stuff that was happening with the wife, have it revealed to not be anything about the ghost and have it all just be him, be manipulating her and like, I don't know, carbon monoxide poisoning or something, because apparently most hauntings are caused by like people that believe in hauntings, a lot of times they find that there was like a carbon monoxide issue in the house. During the party, she basically just comes to the realization that her husband is going to do whatever it takes to get what he wants. He'll get whatever he wants. And she's just like done. Like the cord is severed. She has accepted that she's done. After the party, he's like talking with her and she's like, why didn't you tell me about this house? And he's like, because I didn't want you to find another reason to dislike this house or whatever. It's kind of funny because as he's talking with her, there's multiple times throughout the house where he says things like, I love you. I just want you to be happy. And things happen. Like at one point he tells her, I love you, and their daughter's nightlight explodes. And then at this time he's saying, I just want you to be happy. And the radio just starts going haywire and he unplugs it and it's still going haywire. And she's just like cool with the fact that the ghosts are like fucking with her husband at this point. I don't know. He smashes it and she's like, Franny needs to go visit your parents. Spend the rest of the weekend there. So she basically kicks him out of the house so she's alone in the house with the ghost. Could have done something else here. I don't think the seance was necessary. I would have done something else with this scene. But anyway, they have a seance. The wife has the seance with like a bunch of other professors and the professors' wives or whatever, and they're talking and they go through the original owners and all of that. And so it's like everything has been passed on is what we're being led to believe. But then it's like, once again, this is where we learn that good spirits can only commune with good people. Bad spirits can only seek out bad people. Again, we've established her husband is shitty. And in this moment, in this seance, we are shown that there is a separate entity in the house, okay? We never actually see this separate entity. It never becomes corporeal or is shown to us like the dead wife is. But we know that there's something bad, you know, battling the good, that she knows is trying to protect her and is like watching over her. So why stay in the house? I felt like this was weirdly executed. It should have been done better. I don't fully know how, but like, I don't know, maybe if they'd shown us the evil husband, because I'm assuming it's the husband that also died in the house when he tried to kill the family. Again, we're never shown him, so I'm assuming that that's who it is, and that it's just like a continuous cycle of the women in the house dying, you know? But it's like, oh God, okay. The seance happens, the ghost woman comes through and is like watching over her, but then there's some other entity that like black smoke shows up and then like makes it go away. It's a whole thing. God, what happens next? I don't even know. This movie is too long. The friend starts noticing that there's something, well, she's not starting, she knows that something's weird with the husband, but they go on a school trip, which I don't know why they need chaperones for a college trip. But they need chaperones. They go into the city. It's on a bus. I'm surprised they had a bus. My college would have made us all carpool. Like, hey, find your own way there, but it's also 50% of your grade. They go to a museum, and while they're there, the husband's former associate from his old school is like, what are you doing? I heard you moved away. Oh, I'm just here to visit, what's it called? You know, I love this artist's work. I wish you had given that much attention to your dissertation. And then at that exact moment, a couple of students come up and call him professor. However, this guy who he's talking to apparently was his professor at the other college. So he apparently asked for a recommendation and was not given one. So he's like, how are you able to get a teaching position without a recommendation? He's like, oh, I'm just adjunct, you know, I don't know what's going on. That professor later calls the school. Again, there's too much happening in this. I just keep going beat by beat. This video is gonna be too long. What ends up happening is that the husband slowly starts killing people or trying to kill people to maintain the ruse that he has built. She is realizing this ruse and that he has stolen people's identities and that he has manipulated her and manipulated other people to have his perfect life, essentially. And so he just kind of starts offing people slowly to maintain this ruse, but it's kind of like he believes that this is something that has to keep happening. However, at a certain point, he acknowledges that there is another presence there, and he's like, if you're here, give me a sign, and a crow crashes through the window. It's like he acknowledges that there is a dark spirit at some point. So at what point did the spirit start communing with him and start associating with him? Don't fully know, because there's just a dark presence there. So does he think that this dark presence is the same one helping Catherine? Oh, that's her name, Catherine. Catherine is also associating with I'm assuming he doesn't think that it's the same ghost, because that ghost protected her from him and like locked the door. And again, she's way too casual about the ghost stuff. I know if you like accept it, it's one thing, but still just way too casual about this ghost just having her back in this situation. I think that's funny. He just kind of starts like falling into the role that it was like predetermined for him to fall into, I guess. But like certain things had nothing to do with the house. So it's like, because I'm assuming what someone's gonna be like, oh no, none of this was this. He was corrupted by the house, by the spirits of the house. But no, because he sent the letter of recommendation that he forged to the college before they got there. He was an egomaniac before that. The oceanscapes that Catherine loved, that she thought he had painted years ago, were the ones that he had stolen from his dead cousin, who I'm entirely certain he probably killed as well. Because it's like, he ends up killing the professor that was gonna turn him in for forging his letter of recommendation. He ends up killing him on the boat. So again, I'm assuming he killed the cousin as well. It has nothing to do with the house. He just kind of fell into it. Even drugging Catherine, okay? Because what ends up happening is, because we are told that the previous owners who killed the wife and was gonna kill his sons, he put sedatives in all of their food or whatever and waited for them to fall asleep, shot all the cows, and then went to go kill everyone. Okay. That. But he ends up doing that to Catherine, because what he does is he drugs her. He gives her the protein shake because, again, she's supposed to be drinking protein shakes. I don't think I mentioned that. Again, I think the eating disorder subplot was handled really poorly. I don't know what the all connection was. I think if you had just kept that storyline and fleshed it out more, and then kept the psycho husband, egomaniac husband, fleshed that out more, and then cut rid of all the ghost stuff and then just dealt with that, I think it could have been a better movie. He ran the friend off the road, by the way. He tried to kill her. She's in a coma. They're not sure when she's gonna wake up. He drugs her. She starts looking for Franny in the house, even though she realizes she's losing consciousness because she realizes she's been drugged. And then as she's going through the house looking for her daughter, the ghost of the dead mother shows up. And she's been popping up here and there throughout the movie again. She's just a death omen at this point. Like, she was gonna die regardless, and she acknowledges, like, she's saying, she's like, I can't stop what's about to happen, but I can make sure you don't feel the pain or whatever. Like, I'll stay with you like she stayed with me, because Catherine is unconscious and she's there. But then as she is there, because we're basically told that, like, the original owner's wife that was killed in the house, the damned, she was there when that wife was killed to, like, protect her from the pain, even though she was gonna die anyway. So we're only shown the two ghosts, but whatever. But as she's there to protect Catherine from the pain, the dark cloud shows up and like pushes her away. It's like, don't stop, whatever. But then George, the husband, comes in, okay, with an axe. And then we see on the bed that it's the dead wife. It's her image laying there. So I'm assuming that the husband, the dead husband, the evil spirit, took over George's body and was gonna kill the dead wife again. So it's just a loop? So anyway, Catherine dies. She's like brutally murdered, and he just leaves her body there because he planned all this out. So what he did is, again, I think there's too much premeditation to say that, oh, it's just the spirit. He has too much self-control in this situation. He calls Cole, who is like the babysitter basically, and is like, oh, Franny, once she falls asleep, just feel free to leave. Catherine is sick, so don't bother her. She won't be down today. Suspicious as hell. And then he goes to work. And again, they just leave her body there. Just leave the body in the bedroom. And then he comes home from work, goes upstairs and pretends he finds the body, and then grabs Franny, runs to the neighbor's house and is like, call the police because they don't have a phone. Oh, that's right, he ripped the phone out of the wall when she was trying to run away from him. I hate this fucking movie. Sheriffs show up, it's a whole thing. They're fairly certain that George did it because he did, but they're not sure how. Conveniently enough, the dead professor that he killed hadn't reported him yet. So they're like, hey, we're gonna make you the head of the department temporarily until we figure out what's going on. So he's like doing great. Again, the other person who knew he was cheating on his wife, she's run off the road. She's in a coma. And now his wife is dead. His ex-lover and the wife's lover, the other boy, is like, they go and find each other and they're fairly certain like he did it. You know, they know he did it. He knows that like she hated her husband and all this other stuff. So they go to the police. The police let the husband go because they don't have anything concrete. The boy goes in and is like, she just said she hated her husband and that he hated her and that there was all this issues. And then he like freaks out and leaves. He doesn't say, oh yeah, and he was having an affair. He was cheating on her. He was shitty. And it's like, yes, having an affair doesn't automatically mean you're capable of murder, but there was a pattern there. And why you wouldn't just admit to that, why you wouldn't just tell them that like, oh, by the way, he was cheating on her and maybe she found out about the affair, you know, like there's this movie sucks. There's this one painting that keeps being shown of like the spirit entering into the afterlife or the space in the afterlife. And basically what happens at the end of the movie is Christine, whatever the friend's name is, she wakes up from her coma because she started having visions of like Catherine and the other woman's dead ghost, because they have like this whole imagery of them holding each other because again, they were destined to die. It was predetermined by the ring, which still dumb. I don't like this. She wakes up and calls him like, do you remember me? I remember everything. So he knows he's screwed because she at the very least knows that there was an issue with the professor at the museum and she knows that he was cheating on Catherine. So he decides he's gonna go out on the boat that his cousin left him, that he definitely killed his cousin for. And he's like riding off into the ocean. We start hearing his wife and the other dead woman are like chanting. There's all this stuff happening back and forth. He's trying to like steer. I don't know what his plan was. Where was he going? What was the goal? He starts going into like an altered version of the portrait, the painting that we keep, it's not a portrait, that's a person, the seascape that we keep seeing. And what it is he gets basically sucked into hell. And the cross that's in the original painting is flipped upside down because he's going to hell because he's damned. Okay. So the moral of the story is that bad people, bad spirits will always get what's coming to them. Eventually. Doesn't matter how many people it takes to die for them to get it. They're gonna get it. So dumb. Okay, dead wife of the house, who was like talking to Catherine, and Catherine was like, I feel like comforted by her presence. She was a death omen, I'm assuming. That's what I'm treating that woman as. She should have been like, hey, get the fuck out of my house. Your husband's gonna kill you. Be a little more aggressive with getting her out of the house. Or did she know that she was just destined to die there? I'm assuming that's what it is. But then even then it's like, it's so dumb. I'm annoyed. I'm done. I think this movie was objectively not good. I think it was too long. Too much it could have been good. You have some good acting potential here. You have Amanda freaking Seyfried, who was just nominated Best Supporting Actress. You know, like it's... I hate wasted potential. I do. I hate it. Overall, I think it could have been a better movie. Mainly, I think if you have gotten rid of all of the ghost stuff and just focused on the husband and then maybe her own mental illness as well at the same time, I think that could have been better structured. Just more focus on that. Because especially like when you look at, he just wants the picturesque life, but then like we're shown little things of him caring about Franny. Like I feel like, I don't know. I feel like there's so much that could have been done better here. That's it. I need to stop. My brain hurts from talking about this movie. Did you watch Things Heard and Seen? What did you think? Do you also think that you shouldn't have to do supplemental reading to enjoy or understand a movie? How do you think you would have made this film better? Let me know. Comment down below. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me on my Patreon. If you'd also like to support me on Patreon, that'll be listed down below. If you'd like to follow me on my social media, that'll be all up here. And that's gonna be it. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. I don't think it's a radical statement for me to say, you know, like when you find jewelry in your new old house that you're already getting weird vibes from, don't wear it, you know? Like, don't put the ring on. Thank you, Allie, Allen, Alex, Braden, Cameron, Christopher, Chris, Cody, Colton, Crash PC, Destiny, Devin, Dirty One, Don, Elliot, Essen, M, Feckless, Hopeless, Hollow, Drucker Ray, Joe, John M, Jordan, Joseph, Kenny, Kevin, Kim, Kristen, Lex, Lisa, Luis, Munga, Matt O, Matthew West, Meme Lord the Red, Michael, J, Nathaniel, Pat, Pilot, Rob, Robbie, Robert, Ross, Sam, Simon, Stephen, Tasha, Timothy, Tom, Wendy, Williams, Endry.